Hey guys, Ernie here and welcome to the Paleo Hiker MD channel. Now some here on YouTube have kind of labeled me the stove guy. Now it's hard, guys. It is hard being the stove guy. Filling Hiram Cook's shoes is just difficult and I'm not sure how I feel about it, but nonetheless, I'll do my best. For example, to keep my reputation, I recently bought yet another Ultralight Canister stove. Yeah, I did it. I feel like I basically had to if I'm going to be the stove guy. I just can't see why my wife doesn't understand that. Now there are tons of ways you can put together an ultralight cook kit, but I always seem to gravitate towards having a canister stove. I like having an ultralight canister stove, and because of that I'm always searching for one that I like a little bit more than the last one, and let's face it, at this point I'm just trying to try them all out. Having a gas canister stove is fast, it's convenient, and you can get some very powerful little stoves that hardly weigh anything these days. Recently I've been using either the Soto Amicus or the MSR Pocket Rocket 2 as my go-to ultralight canister stove. So the question is, will this stove from Snow Peak work its way into the rotation? Let's check out the Snow Peak Gigapower Litemax. So here's the stove. Comes in this little case, which I'm not a huge fan of, but it comes just like this. You can see that it's got a very familiar Snow Peak design here. It's got 3 legs. You just rotate these out like that. They lock into place. And then you can take these little legs off or open these up. Boom, just like that. And just like that. And there is your open stove. Dimensions open are 4.9 by 3.14. And close is 2.6 by 3.14. Weight is 2 ounces, and I did verify that it is 2 ounces on the money for this. You can add about ½ an ounce for this carrying case. It is made out of titanium and made in Japan, so you know it's going to be excellent Japanese quality. It does not have a piezo igniter, which is not surprising because they're trying to save weight. Cost is a pretty hefty $59.95. There it is. This is the Snow Peak Gigapower Litemax. Let me show you guys the flame pattern, and then we're going to put it up against a couple of its competitors like we talked about earlier, the MSR Pocket Rocket 2 and the Soto Amicus. One thing I'll note is that when I light it, one side will light, and you have to be careful and make sure all of it lights. See how that backside didn't light? Very slight wind comes through and it feels it. I'll blow a little bit. Flame pattern is nice, but it is not very resistant to the wind. You are able to control the flame really nice. You can bring it down low. Make it a little bit hotter. So you do have very good flame control. That's high all the way. You can see that it's cold outside. So the thing is let me turn this down. It's cold outside. It's about 45 degrees out. So that blue flame turns yellow very quickly because it cools off very quickly. That's not a real good indication, but on the inside it's blue all the way. And that's a pretty good flame. So that's the flame pattern. So now we'll talk a little bit about the pros of this Snow Peak stove. Obviously the ultralight nature of it is really nice. That's one of the big selling points. 2 ounces is a really lightweight stove, and titanium is a great material. It has excellent quality. I mean, you can just feel quality. A lot of these things, when you open them, it just feels really loose, and those legs tend to just open and they feel loose. This feels really tight, really well made. It's also very efficient. Didn't use a lot of fuel, very in line with the other stoves. It also has a very small form factor, and I think that's a really big deal. It is smaller, I think, than the other ones. At least it's smaller than the MSR. It's very close to the Soto. Regardless, it's a very small form factor, and that is a plus. Cons are pretty simple. It's pretty pricey. I mean, it's 60 bucks, which is more expensive than either of the other two. It also doesn't have a piezo igniter. Now, of course, they did that, like I said, to try to lower the weight. But you do have to carry something to get it going. Now, you're always going to carry a backup because sometimes these piezo igniters fail. I've never personally had one fail, but people say they do fail. So you're always going to have a lighter or something to light it with if you need it, or a ferro rod. But it doesn't have the piezo igniter. It would be nice to have that as an option. I also need more testing, but I think it may be a little more susceptible to the wind. The Snow Peak Gigapower that I tested was more susceptible to the wind, and this one has a very similar design. It's just a little smaller, made out of titanium. So I think it would be a little more susceptible than, say, the Pocket Rocket 2, or especially the Soto, because of the way that the burner is actually made. But aside from the cost, I mean, what's not to love about this stove? If you like canister stoves, if you like quality, if you like titanium, it's a great product. You're going to pay for it, 60 bucks. You know what you're getting going in, but it is a good quality stove. Pocket Rocket 2 is about $45. The Soto Amicus is about $45. So is it worth $15 more? Well, let's talk about the weight savings, because that's where we really... Okay, seriously, so you're saving 0.6 ounces over the Pocket Rocket 2 and 0.9 ounces over the Soto. I mean, I guess if you want to get excited about half an ounce or an ounce, I mean, we do count ounces, we count half an ounces whenever we do ultralight, but at the same time, you know, for the cost, is $15 worth half an ounce? That's up to you. I don't think it is. If you're counting grams, yes, of course it is. If you want every single gram less, spend the 60 bucks. If you'll tack on the extra half an ounce, I think probably performance-wise, the MSR Pocket Rocket 2 is hard to beat, and I really like the Soto Amicus, which is still my favorite of the three. I'm not sure how much of a wind resistance there is to these three stoves. The MSR and the Soto have some wind resistance built into them. This one really does not. It states that it does, but I don't really see anything that shows that it does. If you guys want to see a video with all three of those or any other stoves looking at wind resistance, just leave it down in the comments and I'll take a look at it. In the end, look, it's an excellent quality stove. It does exactly what it's supposed to do. It is super lightweight and it's super high quality. So yeah, I guess it's worth the $60, but there are better options in my opinion for the price. Not sure if you guys are aware, but I have an entire playlist on stoves. I love stoves. I love reviewing them. Wood stoves, alcohol stoves, gas canister stoves, solid fuel stoves, whatever it might be. I love all things stoves, so make sure you check that down below. Do me a big favor, guys. Stop right now. If you haven't already, hit that thumbs up down below. It really helps spread things across YouTube. If you're not subscribed, hit the subscription button. And if you want to be absolutely sure you don't miss any videos, hit that notification bell and you'll be the first to know. I love testing out stoves, and even though this stove doesn't necessarily live up to the other two in my opinion, it's still a great quality stove. If you're looking at it, just know you'll get a great quality stove. It's worth the money if it's what you're looking for the lightest, almost lightest stove you can find. As always, guys, I appreciate you checking out the Paleo Hiker MD channel. Stay tuned for more videos soon.